when you heard her get introduced, because she actually is part of our planning hui. She currently works at the University of Hawaiʻi at Mānoa, Hawaii Nui Atea, and Native Hawaiian Student Services. She graduated last spring, and then recently, maybe, what has it been, like a few months? You've joined
like
hui?
3 months?
Yeah, 4 months. So we were looking for an introductory speaker for Maisha, and she volunteered. She volunteered. So she's going to be talking to you about her educational journey from a student perspective, because she's also in her post-baccalaureate program. So she'll talk to you about that. But Allyson also is involved in the AI curriculum. So she'll talk a little bit about that too. So I'm going to turn it over to Allyson.
Aloha. Great. Thank you. So again, I'm Allyson Franco. I kind of nervous-ish because I'm not used to doing a lot of presentations. I should probably get used to them soon, but yeah, so I don't fit category 1. I'm actually from Kailua. This is like a map of Kailua. This is technically where I am at the bottom of Kailua, but I was thinking of a connection of Kailua to Waiʻanae, because we're like total opposite sides, but there's always some type of connection. I had trouble for a while, had trouble trying to connect to Kailua. I've always kind of claimed Hilo because that's where I was born as the place I'm from, but the more research I started to do in my community about my family, and my grandma is like she's like my everything. She's a genealogist. She knows everything, all the stories about my family and where we're from. And Kailua happens to be the place where at least 5 generations we can go back and look at our family and Kailua. So Kamakalepo, which is in Mānoa, our family has land down there in Kailua, in Mānoa, and that's been the connection, being able to take back the stereotypes that Kailua kind of has placed on it. Usually like there's a lot of white people, which there is. Everyone's kind of rich that lives in that area, but being able to connect back to my family roots and connect back to the place that I'm from is always important. And I feel like a lot of Waiʻanae people that I meet is also the same way. They always have a strong connection to their own community and to their own ʻāina. So this is my foundation. This is my family. So my grandma, I was trying not to cry. My grandma has been a really big support for me, as well as the rest of my family. So these are the people that have kind of built a foundation for myself and everything that I do, whether it comes to work or going to school or my own values. They kind of set the tone for myself, and they always had a high expectation, but they never really had to do very much because we were kind of, I think we were obedient. We weren't that kolohe, my sisters and I. But yeah, so this is my younger sister. She goes to Creighton University in Nebraska. And then this is my older sister, Alicia. The two people my older sister, she has always been my role model up to a certain point. And my younger sister as well, because she's the youngest, but I feel like she's very successful. She doesn't really need us that much to help her to succeed. She knows where she's going in life, but she also helps me figure out what I'm doing in life in regards to going to college and everything pretty much. And my two cousins, Dawson and Caleb, who they live on Kauai, but they're the people that I have to like slap my hand if I'm doing something bad or doing something that's not a good thing, because I know that they're watching me in everything that I do. And then the two people that I want to highlight is my grandpa and my auntie. They both passed away, but they kind of formed me this is when I figured out that I wanted to go to college. Before I graduated from high school, my grandpa passed away in 2010, and he's Mexican. He's from California, so he had the same values but different to Hawaiians. But to me, was the definition of a hard worker. I'd see him wake up in the morning to go to work, come back, eat, and then go to sleep. His check, he would sign off and give it to my auntie and go to everything and anything for the house. And my auntie, who was, and probably still is, in a way, is still my best friend. To me, she's the definition of unconditional love. She loved everyone and anyone, no matter what skin color you were, wherever you're from, if you're rich or you're poor. She taught me how to love others and how to care for others. And my aunt passed away in 2012, which was the middle of my sophomore year in college. And I was going through a sophomore slump at that time, not really wanting to continue college. I actually failed a class. And at this moment, before my aunt passed away, I didn't want to continue college. But when she passed away, and she passed away close to like Christmas time, or my finals week. So I had a really hard time taking my finals. And throughout the whole winter break, I was in deep depression. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I had my auntie's voice in my head and she kept telling me to keep going in college. And that's kind of the start of my college journey in a way. I don't take as much selfies or have people take as many pictures. I'm usually the person behind the camera. But going to college was in a way me trying to find myself, who I am as a Kanaka Maoli, as a Hawaiian person, as someone that's more than Hawaiian and all types of races. But trying to figure out who I am and what my kuleana is to our lahui and to just to our culture, to our ancestors as well. These are kind of like the support system. So that's Ili. Ili was actually my former boss at Native Hawaiian Student Services. And then a few of my friends. So these three, they're guys, but they pretty much stuck with me throughout my 4 years in college. And then just connecting back to, and my other friends down here too. They're a really good support system. They told me what to do, what not to do, in a nice way, really harsh criticism sometimes, to a point where I cried, but they pulled me out of really difficult situations that I've gone through in life. And also I guess to connect back to my culture. So in college, or when I was young up until I was older, I think the only thing I can recall was going to the beach as a way of connecting to culture. In high school, I took Hawaiian language, but never really had this like tie to my culture. And when I got to UH Mānoa, I actually didn't know what I wanted to major in. I went through like 3 different departments. I wanted to do business. Then I found out the requirements. I'm not really good at math, so I swept business underneath the carpet, and then I went to sociology, and then back to business, to nursing, and then I finally went to Hawaiian studies. So this is a picture of Hawaiian studies. It's like my pu'uhonua, or my safe space, where I know I can go to at any time of day to just relax and recollect myself and self-reflect. And then just in general, connecting to my culture, and Kaho'olawe has been a really significant role in trying to figure out what I'm doing in life, because there's not very much things to do on the island. You have to walk everywhere. You don't have that many amenities, like you have to take a shower in the ocean, but that kind of helps you self-reflect as you're doing things, what life is and how to value your life. And then another, I guess really significant role in figuring out what my kuleana is Native Hawaiian Student Services. So I started out working with Ili at NHSS, and I was really scared. I didn't know how to do presentations. I was really the background person that does everything for Ili while Ili ran the show. Just being able to connect with community. So we actually worked with a lot of Waianae communities. So we had like ʻāina Intermediate. I know there's a lot of like Halau Kumana Anue students that we've worked with that are from ʻāina that catch the bus out to town every day. And yeah, there's just a lot of the ʻāina community students trying to get them engaged into going to college. It doesn't matter if they wanted to go straight to UH Mānoa, if they wanted to go away, if they wanted to start at community college, just giving them the idea of attending a going to higher education. Throughout my college career, I always questioned why certain things were happening to Hawaiian people, why we had to struggle more than certain races, or why UH Mānoa does certain things, or we might not get enough funding for, we might not get enough funding for the Hawaiian language and Hawaiian studies program, and you see that they have millions of dollars. For me, that was the issue, was UH Mānoa has millions of dollars, and Hawaii Nui Akea is only getting allotted, for my budget for outreach, I can say this, I only get $7,000 for a whole year, and that's to put on events or to have certain things, versus like the business department or nursing or medicine, where they get tons of money to use for their research or for their recruiting, to know that these certain programs, Hawaiian programs for Hawaiians, have to struggle. So I started to connect to a few things where I started, started being able to voice my opinion, to go to these certain rallies, to go to these different trips. This is a California trip I went to, and I went to Mauna Kea last year with Kumunoi, Goodyear, Kaupua, and just being able to connect to my culture and to language and to our struggles and our history. And that's what connected me to, this quote is, for me, very powerful. My friend introduced it to me just a few weeks ago when I was putting an event together. And it basically means, oke aloha, aloha ʻāina is a magnetic force, which is the ume magneti, is like the magnetic force in the heart of the Hawaiian people. So aloha ʻāina is the thing that drives people, that makes people feel connected to this place. And that's where I got connected to doing the ʻea curriculum, movement building for ʻea, and basically going to different communities. Doesn't matter if they're 10 years old or 77 years old, having some sort of curriculum or some sort of workshop that helps introduce people to learning what power means, and obstacles that we try to go through as a community, our struggles. And for me, when I do this curriculum, I'm thinking of our people, my generation, the generation before me, but also for the generation after me, for the keiki, because I don't want to see our keiki kind of struggle or always questioning the same questions that I had about our community or about our people. But yeah, that's really it. Right now I'm in my post-baccalaureate degree, which means I graduated. I didn't get into a grad program because I didn't know what I wanted to do yet. But right now I'm taking a geography class, and then hopefully next semester I can take more political science and geography classes. But just reminding ourselves that rewriting and then rewriting our stories is very important. The stories that go on in our community, what other people are saying about us, and if it's something that's wrong or something that's might be slightly incorrect, trying to make those changes and making sure people know that these stereotypes isn't exactly what we are, trying to let people know that we are really strong as a Hawaiian people and with all of our allies as well. And then also just reconnecting or connecting back to ʻāina, to our community, and back to our history. So that's it. Thank you.